Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, after more than 580 days, what we know about the last living American hostage in Gaza, plus the trade deal with China. Breaking overnight, Israeli-American Idan Alexander expected to be released from Hamas captivity. His community gathering to watch here at home. What we know about his condition, his family, and what the White House is saying.
Also breaking overnight, trade deal with China. The details this morning after a marathon weekend of negotiations.
Air travel troubles, the transportation secretary's warning after more issues at Newark and an equipment outage in Atlanta, as AAA predicts a record-setting Memorial Day.
The president preparing to accept a $400 million gift from the government of Qatar, a luxury jumbo jet known as a Flying Palace, to serve as Air Force One, then for his personal use. The serious ethical, legal, and national security concerns this morning.
Pope Leo on the world stage.
They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end.
The new Pope meeting with journalists this morning, including our James Longman. Now, which major decisions Leo is set to make?
Opening statements set to begin this morning in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, while the judge delayed finalizing the jury.
Taylor Swift subpoenaed. In the Baldoni Lively It Ends With Us feud, how her team is responding.
Blockbuster weight loss study. Researchers finding one type of popular medication may help people shed more weight than another.
The New York-Boston showdown gearing up for Game 4.
Stu got it!
While the Thunder fight back.
Topping a magic trick.
And the Pacers pull out all the tricks as we jump into Monday.
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good morning, America.
It is Monday, and Will Reeve is going to have all that exciting NBA action for us coming up.
Yeah.
Yes, he will. And we have a lot of news to get to this morning, including flood watches, fire danger, and widespread record heat. Ginger standing by, tracking it all for us.
We begin with breaking news. Expectation that the last American hostage held by Hamas is about to be released. A crowd has gathered in his hometown in Tenafly, New Jersey. President Trump announced last night that Idan Alexander is coming home to his family. Chief Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell tracking it all. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning, George. That's right. Overnight, President Trump making that announcement that this American-Israeli hostage is going to be released from captivity. Hamas saying that the release will happen today, and there's a lot of expectation it could come in the following few hours. Alexander has been held for more than 580 days. He's believed to be the last living American hostage. Alexander, as you say, is from New Jersey. He moved to Israel to serve in the military after he graduated high school. Hamas kidnapping him, though, from his military post during its October the 7th attack. His mother also believed to be flying to Israel right now. This deal, though, has been brokered through direct talks between the Trump administration and Hamas, but notably has not involved Israel. And I think in some senses it's a blow to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, whose plans for a wider scale war now appear to be thrown into doubt. And it also increases pressure on him to bring the remaining 57 Israeli hostages home. The Trump team, though, seeing this as a goodwill gesture and a potential opening to jumpstart talks on a ceasefire to end the Gaza war. And, of course, it comes as the president embarks on an important three-day tour of the region. Michael?
Yeah, very important indeed there, Ian. Thank you so much for that. We're going to turn now to the latest on the president's trade war. And news breaking overnight that China and the U.S. have reached a short-term agreement. Our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, is tracking the latest on this trade deal. Good morning, Rachel.
Michael, good morning to you. And this is a breakthrough in talks between the world's two largest economies, but it's also a dramatic retreat from President Trump's 145% tariffs that he imposed on Chinese imports. After all of the tough talk and hard lines, both sides agreeing to dramatically roll back their tariffs, at least for now. This morning, the Trump administration emerging from a marathon weekend of negotiations, announcing the U.S. has reached a trade deal with China to significantly lower most tariffs for 90 days.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moved down the tariff levels.
The U.S. agreed to roll back its steep 145% tariff on Chinese imports to 30%. and China agreeing to lower its tax on American goods from 125% to 10%. For weeks, the president has been defiant about keeping his tariffs in place, even as markets tumbled and retailers warned their shelves could go empty.
I know what the hell I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and you know what I'm doing, too.
China took a hard line, too, insisting no matter how long the trade war lasts, we'll never yield. But just as both sides touched down in Geneva, Switzerland for those high-stakes talks, the president with a change in tone, suggesting he would be willing to drop his tariffs even lower to 80%. The deal the U.S. reached is much lower than that.
We concluded that we have shared interest. The consensus from both delegations this weekend is neither side wants a decoupling.
On Wall Street, stock futures surging as the U.S. and China return back to the negotiating table in hopes of reaching a long-term deal. So investors are rejoicing this morning, but the full economic impact of this on and off again trade war still remains very unclear at this point. That question will be answered likely in 90 days as these two sides continue their negotiations, Michael.
Yeah, still a lot of that is still unclear, Rachel. But Rachel, the president posting on social media that he will sign an executive order aimed at lowering prescription drug costs.
Yes, Michael, the president says he'll be signing that executive order in just a few hours before he heads off on this foreign trip. It is aimed at lowering the price of prescription drugs. The goal here to force pharmaceutical companies to charge the U.S. the lowest price that they charge other companies. Now, if implemented, this would likely have the largest impact on drugs covered by Medicare and that are administered in a doctor's office. But the White House not releasing any other details this morning, and implementing this could be very complicated, Michael.
All right, Rachel Scott, thank you so much. Robin?
Okay, Michael, we're going to bring in our chief economics correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, with the potential impact of this trade deal. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Robin. Nice to see all of you. And markets today are poised to surge higher on news of the cooling trade tensions between the U.S. and China. Take a look back at the last year so far. It has been a very volatile ride since President Trump first introduced his tariffs. Stocks peaked back in February, as you can see. We're not quite back to those record levels, however. So remember, we've heard now from many major U.S. companies. They've all warned that tariffs make it difficult to predict the future. It makes it difficult to even conduct business because of the uncertainty that they place on the future of both consumers and the U.S. economy. And we've heard from very big companies about this: Apple, Amazon, General Motors, Ford, McDonald's, United, Delta Airlines. There's dozens of companies who've warned about it. And then we've also heard from small businesses, farmers who have talked about how much these hurt their businesses. This morning, you have that pause in effect, which does have the ripple effect to improve the market, but there still is a great deal of uncertainty out there.
And you've often said the market does not like uncertainty.
The market wants clarity on this, and so do all these business leaders who are trying to figure out what they're doing in the future.
I'll be watching it closely. Hey, Rebecca, thanks very much. We're going to turn to the controversy now over President Trump preparing to accept a luxury jumbo jet from the government of Qatar. The plan is for it to serve as Air Force One, then for Trump's personal use. It's raising serious legal and national security questions. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl broke the story. He joins us now. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. This is a move that is already raising serious ethical, legal, and national security questions. But the Trump administration is poised to accept that luxury jumbo jet, which has a value estimated at $400 million, as a gift from the government of Qatar. Sources familiar with the proposal say that the aircraft would be used by President Trump as a new Air Force One and then transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation shortly before he leaves office.
It would likely be the most valuable gift ever given to the U.S. government from a foreign power. Multiple sources familiar with the proposal say this is the airplane, a 13-year-old Boeing 747-8, known as a Flying Palace. It was toured by Trump himself back in February. The aircraft is larger and significantly more luxurious than the current Air Force One, an older version of the 747 that has been in operation since 1990. The Qatari plane has 2 fully furnished floors, complete with plush carpet, leather couches, and 2 bedrooms. The plane's current value is estimated at $400 million, but it will need millions more worth of modifications to meet the Air Force requirements to operate as the presidential aircraft.
It raises many, many eyebrows to have this sort of deal at all, to be accepting Air Force One from a foreign government.
Under the terms of the proposed gift, sources tell ABC the plane would be transferred to the Trump Presidential Library Foundation no later than January 1st, 2029. That's shortly before Trump leaves office. The Constitution prohibits anyone holding federal office from accepting a personal gift from a foreign head of state. But sources say Attorney General Pam Bondi has concluded that this gift is, quote, legally permissible because the plane is not being given to an individual, but rather to the U.S. Air Force and then to Donald Trump's foundation. Democrats are calling the proposed gift illegal and are demanding an investigation. I don't know who needs to hear this, Senator Bernie Sanders posted on X, but no, Donald Trump cannot accept a $400 million flying palace from the royal family of Qatar. Not only is this farcically corrupt, it is blatantly unconstitutional. In response to the outcry, Trump confirmed he plans to accept the airplane, calling it, quote, a gift free of charge of a 747 aircraft to replace the 40-year-old Air Force One, temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction.
In addition to the obvious ethical concerns, there are significant national security concerns about this, about using a plane given by a foreign government as Air Force One. Qatar is considered an American ally, but it is also an ally of Iran and China and even Hamas. The massive plane would need to be thoroughly vetted for listening devices and tracking devices that can be incredibly small and hidden just about anywhere on that massive aircraft. George?
So, John, among all the questions you raise, above everything else, this is not going to be free of charge. It's going to cost millions, if not tens of millions of dollars to retrofit it for it to serve as Air Force One. And, of course, American taxpayers are going to pay that.
Yeah, absolutely, George. It will have to be retrofitted to serve the Air Force requirements. And, George, also in this agreement, the transfer costs of going to the library will be paid for by the United States government.
Which means the taxpayers.
Yes, the taxpayers, yes. Taxpayers.
John Carl, thanks very much, Michael.
And by the time it's done, it'll probably be time for him to be out of office. Okay, thank you, George. We're going to turn now to the warning from America's Transportation Secretary that flights could be disrupted across the country due to equipment problems at the nation's airports. This comes after equipment issues at Newark Airport, including radar screens going dark on Friday. Our transportation correspondent, Gio Benitez, is at Newark with the latest. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, it's been a mess here at Newark. Just since Friday, we've seen about 400 cancellations, nearly 1,000 delays, and now this morning we're learning of yet another issue.
This morning, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy with a warning as Newark International Airport faced more problems following a fourth equipment failure or issue in the last 2 weeks.
What you see in Newark is going to happen in other places across the country. It has to be fixed. I'm concerned about the whole airspace.
Sunday morning's 45-minute ground stop was initially thought to be due to an outage, but the FAA clarified it was an audio popping issue with regional controllers, triggering a backup system. This is the second incident in just over 48 hours at Newark. Overnight Friday, radar screens going black for a minute and a half.
FedEx 1989, I hand you off here. Our scopes just went black again. If you care about this, contact your airline and try to get some pressure for them to fix this stuff.
I try not to think about it because that's a really scary thought.
The fallout starting April 28th when an outage at Newark Liberty caused the air traffic control computer screens to go dark for 60 to 90 seconds. The controllers unable to talk to the pilots in the sky. Problems also hitting Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Hundreds of flights delayed Sunday as the airport dealt with a runway equipment issue.
It absolutely is safe at Newark and in the entire country. And the reason is when these kind of outages happen, we train for them. We have backup procedures.
Industry leaders say the recent reduction in flights has helped prevent more delays and cancellations, and they say they're confident things will start to improve quickly.
The fact that people are putting their heads together to find solutions to problems while the bigger solution of fixing the ATC infrastructure is being implemented, we applaud them for doing that.
And on Wednesday, the airlines will meet with the FAA to try to sort this all out. And they have reason to, because AAA is now projecting about 45 million travelers domestically for Memorial Day weekend. That's about 1 million more than last year. So, Robin, if that happens, it will set a record.
Absolutely. All right, GR, thanks to you as always. Now to Pope Leo. on the world stage, meeting with thousands of journalists from around the world this morning, including our chief international correspondent, James Longman, who joins us from Vatican City. That had to be a moment for you, James. Good morning.
It was extraordinary, Robin. My grandmother would have been very proud. Yes, the Pope met with journalists assembled here from all around the world. He spoke initially in Italian, but he did crack a joke in English. Take a listen.
Thank you for this wonderful reception. They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end and you still want to applaud, thank you very much.
He did go on to talk about the importance of freedom of speech to the group of journalists, talking about journalists who've been arrested or killed all around the world. He spoke about AI and how important it was to be responsible when using it. But yes, we did get the chance to meet him. He came down to the front row. Terry Moran and I were right there. He said, ABC News, you guys tracked down my brothers. They've been on TV more than me, which we thought was a lot of fun. He also handed us something to go away with, which was a little rosary, which has been blessed by the Pope. So that is something my grandmother would be very, very proud of if she was still around. Look, he is very unassuming in real life. He's very softly spoken, but there is something about that white cassock that just gives a person an aura. He has star power, and we saw that star power just yesterday during the Sunday blessing. He spoke to 100,000 people who are all assembled here in St. Peter's Square. He spoke about the importance of a ceasefire in Ukraine and in Gaza and on the war in Ukraine. We do understand that he has now spoken to President Zelensky about peace in Ukraine. So we're getting an idea about the kind of Pope he wants to be. Guys.
Yeah, we are getting that idea. James, thank you so very much. You spoke with his brother.
Spoke to the brother on Friday. It was really, really fun interview. Yeah. So if the Pope is listening, you can join us anytime.
Open invitation. Not just the brother. But we got the NBA playoffs right now. Pivotal Game 4 tonight, Knicks Celtics in the Garden.
Sure is. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, everyone. We're about halfway to the NBA Finals here. We've got some surprises so far. Cleveland, number 1 seed in the East, they're down 3-1. The Thunder are in a bit of a fight with the Nuggets, and that's in the other series. What we're really going to get to right now, the Knicks, they are up 2-1 against the defending champion Boston Celtics, and they have a chance to go up 3-1 in this series tonight in the Garden, New York City. That's what we're all looking forward to. The last game, not so great. The first 2 games, carbon copies of each other, 20-point comebacks, last-second wins for the Knicks. Game 3 Saturday, less classic. Garden crowd was buzzing, and then the ball tipped, and that was kind of it. That was kind of a wrap.
Was the only thing buzzing.
Yeah, that was kind of a wrap. But this game is huge tonight because the team that goes up 3-1 ends up having a 95.6% chance to win. They win, George. They win 96% of the time, man. So we got to have them win. And then if it's
95.6,
and then 75% if the Celtics win. So. I don't know. Did all the math for you, but they got to tip the ball tonight.
This
ESPN.
is all exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm tired before the game even starts.
It's exciting for New York.
I know, George. We're so nervous.
Okay, coming up, Aaron Katursky standing by at the Manhattan Courthouse where the Sean Diddy Combs trial about to begin.
Plus, Taylor Swift's team responding to being subpoenaed by Justin Baldoni in his legal battle with Blake Lively.
And new at 7:30, could you qualify for a payout from the Siri settlement? We'll be right back.
Stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got.
Back here on GMA, and fans are flipping out over that guy, Benson Boone. Ticket sales for Boone's American Heart Tour went on sale over the weekend. He said that all dates sold out within 9 seconds.
He's good.
Whoa. 9 seconds.
He's really good.
He's great. That is something. First new at 7:30, Ukrainian President Zelensky says he'll be waiting for Vladimir Putin in Turkey after Russia suggested the 2 countries hold direct peace talks there on Thursday. President Trump urged Ukraine to meet with Russia, even though Moscow effectively rejected an unconditional 30-day ceasefire proposal by Ukraine and its European allies. Also, the Tennessee Highway Patrol said there were fatalities after a multi-vehicle crash on I-75 near the Tennessee-Georgia border. That happened on Sunday. 6 passenger vehicles and a tractor-trailer were involved in the crash.
Also, a new rule goes into effect this morning aimed at stamping out so-called junk fees. Under this new FTC rule and unfair and deceptive fees, the government is saying no surprise fees when you check out. The rule applies to live event tickets and short-term lodging, hotels, and vacation rentals. Good to know what you're paying for, right?
Yeah.
And Apple has agreed to pay $95 million to settle a class action lawsuit by users who say their private conversations were recorded by Apple devices after they unintentionally activated the voice assistant Siri. Anyone who's owned an Apple device since 2014 could be eligible to receive a payout capped at $20 per device. A court hearing to officially approve the settlement is scheduled for August 1st. $20 is better than nothing, Robbie.
That's right. I'll take your 20 if you don't want it.
Yeah, there you go.
We're going to turn now to opening statements expected this morning at Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky tracking the case. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, George. A lot of celebrities roll with an entourage. Federal prosecutors say Sean Combs and the people around him operated as a criminal enterprise with a goal of coercing women into sex. And we're about to hear how they'll make the case. This morning, opening statements in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial of Sean Combs.
If you use my approach, you can dock both.
The Bad Boy Records founder and music mogul is accused of forcing women into drug-fueled sex marathons. Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charges and says the sex was consensual, but for 20 years, prosecutors say he trafficked women and exerted his will by controlling their careers, leveraging financial support, and using intimidation and violence. Combs is seen kicking and dragging then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in 2016 hotel security footage obtained by CNN. Prosecutors plan to introduce as many as 5 different versions of the video, and Cassie is expected to be among the first witnesses. Combs giving Ventura this shout-out while accepting his 2022 BET Lifetime Achievement Award.
I got to give a special thank you to the people that was really there for me. Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love.
The defense concedes violence was part of their relationship, but argues it's not coercing her to do anything. Prosecutors say Cassie and at least 2 other women were forced into elaborate and produced sex performances with male prostitutes called freak-offs that Combs recorded as blackmail. Some of the potential jurors said the subject matter was too much, and the judge feared others would back out if they had the weekend to think about it. So the lawyers will finalize the 12 jurors and 6 alternates this morning.
What you could see is that some jurors, having thought about it over the weekend, will come in and say, you know what, Judge, I thought I could do this. I really can't do this, and I want out. But it's a lot better that they do that today before they're sworn as jurors than take on something that they're really not prepared to handle.
Combs has said he's a little nervous. If convicted, he faces decades in prison. His former attorney, Mark Garagos, spoke in support of Combs on his Two Angry Men podcast, days after the judge admonished him for disparaging the all-female team of prosecutors.
I have frequently talked with Sean. I consider Sean a friend, and just because he's facing a very, very serious charges, I'm not going to abandon Sean.
The public line to get into court actually stretches down the block and around the corner, guys. One guy near the front of the line offered to scalp his seat for $350. Once the jury is instructed and sworn, opening statements will begin in the most anticipated trial of the year. Guys?
Wow, $350 for a seat there. Okay, Aaron, thanks very much. You can see the latest in the trial every day at 5:30 Eastern on Burden of Proof. That's on ABC News Live. Michael?
All right, George, now to the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal battle. Baldoni has now subpoenaed Taylor Swift. Eva Pilgrim is here tracking the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Michael. Baldoni's lawyer said it was a move he'd make, and now he's officially filed the paperwork. We are told this is a document subpoena, meaning he isn't asking Taylor Swift to sit down for a deposition. Instead, he wants to see any relevant texts and such between the superstar and Blake Lively.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me.
This morning, Grammy Award-winning singer Taylor Swift's team firing back after the singer was subpoenaed in the ongoing legal battle between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
This is a big moment.
Sure is. Thank you so much for your served us business.
A spokesperson calling the subpoena issued by Baldoni's attorney tabloid clickbait, adding, Taylor Swift never set foot on the set of this movie. She was not involved in the casting or creative decisions. She did not score the film. She never saw an edit or made any notes on the film. Taylor's connection to this film, permitting the use of one song, My Tears Ricochet.
Look at how my tears ricochet.
Swift, known to be a longtime friend of Blake Lively's, seemingly alluded to in Baldoni's defamation countersuit filed in January. He claims she was at Lively and husband Ryan Reynolds' penthouse during a meeting over script changes. Baldoni alleging he felt obliged to text Lively to say he had liked her pages and hadn't needed Reynolds and her mega celebrity friend to pressure him. A spokesperson for Lively telling ABC News Mr. Baldoni and team continue to turn a case of sexual harassment and retaliation into entertainment for tabloids, to subpoenaing Taylor Swift, a woman who has given a voice to millions the world over. This is a very serious legal matter, not Barnum and Bailey circus.
Taylor Swift's deposition or the evidence that she could provide has the same weight as everyone else. This information only seems to go to a very small aspect of the case that Justin Baldoni is trying to show that Blake Lively sicked her high-profile friends on her to try to move the needle in this script of the movie.
The star-studded legal battle garnering mass public attention. Baldoni's attorney telling People magazine, since Miss Lively is open to testifying, let's make it count. Hold the deposition at MSG, sell tickets or stream it, and donate every dollar to organizations helping victims of domestic abuse.
Now, a source telling ABC News that Taylor doesn't have much to offer on the whole dispute, saying to us that she arrived at Lively's home as Baldoni was leaving after that now infamous meeting, and she didn't hear or see anything. We'll have to see where this goes next.
Yeah, this is never ending.
It keeps going.
Yeah, it does. All right, Eva, our thanks to you. The results of a new study on popular GLP-1 weight loss medications. Researchers finding that one medication may be superior when it comes to taking off the pounds. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is here with more on this. So let's break down this study.
Yes, well, we know that 1 in 8 Americans are on GLPs. And one of the most common questions I get asked and a lot of doctors get asked is, which one should I take, Zepbound or Wegovy? So here we have the first real head-to-head trial of these two drugs published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Basically, researchers took about 751 adults who were either obese or overweight with a risk factor. They gave them essentially either the highest dose or what the highest dose they could tolerate of Zepbound or Wegovy, and they did this for 72 weeks. And then they found that essentially the patients who were on Zepbound lost about 50 pounds. That was compared to about 33 pounds for the patients on Wegovy. So you did see a difference there. In addition, the patients on Zepbound dropped their waist circumference about 7 inches. That was compared to about 5 inches for those on Wegovy. When you looked at the numbers that dropped their weight by about a quarter, again, it was about 32% for Zepbound and definitely almost half, like 16% for those on Wegovy. So definitely this points in the direction that there's more weight loss with Zepbound. When you looked at the side effects, also similar, again, those gastrointestinal side effects, maybe a little bit less with Zepbound in this study than with Wegovy. In general, though, both of these drugs lowered things like blood pressure, sugar, and cholesterol. And, you know, this study was really in a very obese population. BMI was about 39, body mass index. So we don't know, how this would apply to individuals who are less obese or overweight, but definitely shows a difference there.
Sure.
One other interesting thing, actually, men lost about 6% less weight than women did on both of these drugs. So.
For once. Because usually,
sorry.
Weight loss, normally that's not the case. So, okay, as you said, so many are on these medications. What if you're on one and it's just not working for you? What do you recommend?
I mean, I hear this a lot. You know, people will say, I'm trying it, it's not working, what should I do? You know, we always say that you should start low and go slow. You want to give it time to see, A, are you going to develop side effects, and B, maybe you will lose weight, you just need a little bit more time. But if you do not feel comfortable on one, it's worth talking to your doctor about switching to the other. Really, in a lot of cases, this is dictated by insurance coverage and costs and accessibility. But we now know, we've talked about this, both of these drugs, if you go to the drug company directly, you can get them for essentially the same price, about $500 per month now.
But so start low and go slow.
Yes.
Got to keep that in mind.
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right.
Patience is key. All right, Doc.
Thank
you as always. Now, with our play of the day, just in time for graduation season, Lara, you have the sweetest story.
Yes, I do, Michael. Good morning to you all. So Jim Clements is the president of Clemson University, and this weekend he had the thrill of presenting his own daughter, Grace, with her degree, but it didn't go exactly as planned. Take a look. precious. Grace literally bowling dad over with her enthusiasm. Jim calls his daughter Amazing Grace, and with good reason. Grace received her Clemson Life degree. That's for students with intellectual disabilities. She manages Clemson's softball team, and this fall she'll start the university's 2-year hospitality certificate program. After that moment went viral online, President Clements took to Instagram and he wrote, "Clemson Life teaches independence, job skills, and apparently how to sack a university president." Hashtag dad down. He also told reporters outside the ceremony that he wouldn't change a thing. It was pure joy, and that it was. Just put a smile on our faces.
That is love. And that's a great program.
Yeah.
A great program to have.
Unbelievable. Yeah, congrats to Clemson. Congrats to Grace.
Thank you, Lara. Coming up, stars from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives are live in Times Square to tell us all about the new season. So come on back. Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Floods, fires, and widespread record heat, where you could see a major heat risk. Plus, more than 16 million under flood watch across 5 states, and fire danger for 9 million, and a red flag warning for nearly 1 entire state. Ginger is tracking it all.
The concern about potential foodborne illnesses in bagged romaine lettuce. A recent report getting a lot of attention among parents. How you can help keep your food safe.
Bindi Irwin's health scare after she was rushed to the hospital over the weekend, missing the Steve Irwin Gala. What her brother Robert is saying this morning about her recovery.
And Mom Talk is back. If you thought season 1 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives was wild, just wait.
It's going to get messy, for sure.
Stars Layla and Jesse are here live as we say, Good Morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good Morning, America.
And we are hot to go. Good morning, America. Tori Johnson is here kicking off a beauty bonanza week of deals and steals this morning. Bargains to help ease aches and pay. Oh, Gary. So we can all feel our best at prices that cannot be.
First, look at the top stories breaking at 8. We start with the widespread record heat. Ginger track in. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, good morning, George. One hiker died. Several others had to be rescued in Arizona. They were hiking in 100-degree heat. This is a great time of year to remind everyone heat kills, and we have to be serious about this, especially when it comes early. Like International Falls, Minnesota, they had their hottest May temperature on record. It was 96 degrees, and it's not stopping today in the northern plains. You've got a lot of numbers circled, and that means you could break a daily record. So anywhere from Duluth back to Valentine, Nebraska, and Scotts Bluff up to, say, Rapid City and Bismarck, we're looking for easily mid to upper 90s. So this is when, if you don't have air conditioning or you've got prolonged exposure without enough hydration, it becomes a major threat, especially in the area we have highlighted there. Relative humidity as low as 15%. Add a gust 30 to 45 miles per hour, and the fire danger is high, especially from Minneapolis back up to Fargo, Duluth, Rhinelander, and down into Nebraska again. It doesn't stop there, though. Robin, we could see all-time hottest May temperatures in Texas this week. Lots of daily records from Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas could have their first 100 of the season, Robin.
A lot of triple digits there on the board. Okay, Ginger, thank you. Now,
new report in the Atlantic raising concerns about potential foodborne illnesses in bagged romaine lettuce, getting a lot of attention online among parents. Our medical correspondent, Dr. Darian Sutton, is here with more. Good morning, Dr. Sutton. And tell us about some of the concerns.
Yeah, well, these are some of the concerns that my patients talk to me about in the emergency room when I'm diagnosing foodborne illnesses or gastroenteritis. Most of their worry, like many Americans, rounds around the unprocessed meat or undercooked meat or unfortunately even things like dairy products or eggs. But what is important to understand, which is revealed in this article, a painful truth, is that nearly half of foodborne illnesses are associated with the vegetables that we eat. When many people are recounting their risk factors, they don't often recall what vegetables they ate, and that's what's important to understand here. The second point in here is that given funding cuts to the FDA as well as staffing cuts, which regulates nearly nearly 80% of our food supply, there is a reasonable concern that there is an increased risk of miscontamination. Now, that being said, that risk is mostly theoretical. We have not seen clear, conclusive evidence that the food that we eat is associated with an increased risk of illness. That's remained relatively stable. But there are some simple steps we all can take at home that significantly reduce that risk, and that just revolves around making sure that we clean the produce that we eat. That includes the vegetables, the potatoes, that includes making sure that you peel the onions and clean them properly, and even storing lettuce. And now, again, that risk has not borne out into the research, but if you just take those simple steps at home, you can reduce that risk tremendously.
And you mentioned the ER, working in the ER. You've seen people come in who've eaten bad lettuce, so what should people be on the lookout for?
Yeah, number one, the most common symptoms that I see in the emergency room are the nausea, the vomiting, the diarrhea, but the red flags of when you need to go to the ER, because Michael, most of these illnesses can be resolved at home in the comfort of your own home with basic things like drinking water, staying hydrated. But if you notice your symptoms are staying there for more than 2 to 3 days, if you notice you have an associated fever or even bleeding, or if you're high risk, those who are pregnant, those who are over the age of 65 or young children, that's when you need to see a doctor and get evaluated.
And it's interesting, you said 50% from vegetables. You generally don't think that.
Yeah,
so
nearly
good
50%. Really important to understand that risk.
All right, Dr. Sutton, thank you. Appreciate you as always. Coming up, our GMA Morning Menu, the groundbreaking heart surgery that has changed a young boy's life. Dr. Narula is back with his story and how it could be a game changer for so many kids.
And the latest on Bindi Irwin's health after she was rushed to the hospital over the weekend.
Plus, the second season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is about to premiere. Lara?
Yeah, so I'm with Layla Taylor and Jesse Nadikara. They're the stars of the hot reality show. In fact, fans are so excited that we had to get this guy, 911 star Oliver Stark, here just in case. We'll talk to both of them, all of them, coming up on GMA.
Beautiful Monday morning here. We're back now with our GMA cover story. For the first time ever, a child with a mechanical heart valve has received a living donor valve. Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula, a cardiologist, is back with that story for us. Good morning again, Dr. Narula.
Good morning, Robin. That's correct. Preston is a young boy who has been living with a mechanical heart valve since just under 2 years old. Now 11 years old, Preston just received a first-of-its-kind donor heart valve. It was the first time this type of surgery has been done to replace a mechanical valve with a human donor valve. Preston says it is a new chance for a normal life and a breakthrough that holds promise for other children as well. At just 20 months old, doctors discovered Preston Porter had a heart defect when he was hospitalized with a virus. He underwent emergent surgery to replace his mitral valve with a mechanical one.
As you can imagine, it was pretty terrifying.
Preston, now 11, has been on blood-thinning medications for 10 years. The medicines prevent blood clots on the valve, but also increase the risk of bleeding. This meant weekly blood tests, limited sports, and food restrictions.
He's a very active kid. Over the years, he's missed out on a lot.
The other big problem, he would need multiple future operations to change the valve size as he grew. In January, his family learned he was outgrowing the valve. But instead of replacing it with another mechanical or bioprosthetic valve, doctors suggested a partial heart transplant. Doctors would take a valve from a human donor heart to replace Preston's old valve. Only 20 to 30 partial heart transplants have been done in the U.S.
My initial reaction was, no, this is too new. There's no data. It just seemed different.
Having a donor valve meant Preston could ditch the medications that prevented him from being active.
When we first told him that this was an option, he said, so this means I could be a normal kid.
With Preston giving the final go-ahead, doctors at Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. performed his life-altering surgery on April 27th.
It's living, so it can grow with him. He's barely a bit more than 60 pounds. So it can grow double his weight, and that should grow with him. It's a natural tissue. It can heal itself.
While Preston will be on a low dose of anti-rejection medications, he can now be an active kid. With hopes for a longer life and fewer complications, how does Preston feel about it all?
It feels great knowing that I can have a normal life. It also feels really cool knowing I can also help people in the future.
For Preston, this surgery is already life-changing, and while he is looking forward to playing flag football, he also knows as a medical pioneer, his experience could open the door for other children facing similar challenges.
It could.
Yeah, and how big of a breakthrough is this, and how will it change how we treat kids with heart valve defects?
It's a pretty big deal when it comes to cardiac surgery for kids. You know, for a lot of kids who are born with congenital heart disease or develop some infection of the valve, the standard of care has been what you heard, which is either a mechanical valve that requires blood thinners or a bioprosthetic valve, which came from a cadaver or from pig or cow. And the problem is those valves degenerate over time, so you need replacements. They require those medications. They can develop infections. So this really being a living valve will grow with him and really, you know, obviate the need for him to have future surgeries. The other really interesting thing is that this has opened the door to increasing the donor pool. So they've actually been able to do something called domino transplant surgery. So essentially what happens is, let's say I'm a child who needs a heart transplant, and there are about 500 pediatric heart transplants per year. But that child who needs a heart transplant has healthy valves. So that child will get a new heart, but then donate his or her valves to another child who needed a valve, and maybe even a third child. So now one donor heart has essentially saved 2 or 3 children's lives. So it's really incredible what they've been able to do. You know, obviously with these valves, you're going to need some immunosuppressant medications, so that does increase the risk of infection or cancers down the road, but really a big deal here.
And his prognosis is good through adulthood.
Yes, hopefully so. God willing, yes.
Incredible.
That's incredible.
That's really incredible. Thank you, Doc.
My goodness.
Hot news time.
Yeah, let's do it. Good morning, everybody. We're going to begin with a tribute fitting for a legend. Television Academy Hall of Famer and Emmy-winning journalist Barbara Walters is getting the documentary treatment. The doc, called Barbara Walters Tell Me Everything, is set to examine her pivotal role in the history of journalism and her groundbreaking career as a female broadcaster over the course of her 5-decade career. Walters, in her own words, reflects on the high price of fame and the legacy she hoped to inspire. The movie will make its world premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival here in New York City on June 12th, and it's available for all of us to stream on June 23rd on Hulu. I'm really looking forward to it.
How blessed were we to be able to work with her as long as we did?
What a pioneer.
Yep.
What a pioneer.
An amazing woman. You all should check out her story. She is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I should say. God bless. All right, Tom Cruise at it again. Spotted on the roof of the British Film Institute on Sunday, doing his own stunt work there. Tom, come on. Look at him. He's promoting his upcoming Mission Impossible film, and today he receives the highest honor from the Film Institute, the BFI Fellowship Award. Ahead of the ceremony, he spoke to the BFI Sight and Sound magazine about his decades-long career. He says that Eyes Wide Shut was one of his favorite projects because it was a true collaboration with director Stanley Kubrick. He also called his co-star and ex-wife Nicole Kidman a great actress. He talked about his friend and co-star, the late Val Kilmer, saying he was an incredible artist who Tom felt lucky to get to work alongside. The last and final installment of the Mission Impossible franchise comes out in just a few weeks on May 23rd. And then Tom says he'd like to do a musical.
Wow.
All right. I'm sure he will.
That is a change up.
Yep. I love that change up. Tap dancing to it.
He can do it all. He can do it all.
Also this morning, it was a very special Mother's Day for Gisele Bündchen. The supermodel posted the first photos of her youngest son, who she welcomed with her partner Joaquin Valente in February. Gisele taking to Instagram, writing that she's been quiet on social media lately because she's embracing the beauty in the lessons that come with being present. She went on to say that being a mother has been her, quote, greatest gift, and it fills me with gratitude every single day. No word on the little guy's name yet. We're waiting. Also this morning, a health scare for the daughter of Steve Irwin. Over the weekend, the Irwin family touched down in Las Vegas to attend a fundraiser gala for the late Crocodile Hunters Foundation, but Bindi had to miss the event after being rushed to the hospital with a ruptured appendix. Bindi's younger brother, Robert, telling People magazine that she had surgery. She's going to be just fine. Their mom also missed the event to be with Bindi, so Robert took the lead at the event. It raises money for animal conservation, and it remembers his dad's extraordinary legacy. Robert will need to get used to being in the spotlight. He has just joined the cast of Dancing with the Stars, following in his big sister's footsteps. Good luck to him.
That's quite a family. Quite a family.
They're great.
Well, I got to get on up for Deals and Steals.
Yeah, go get yourself
I've been training for the 5K. I'm training for the GMA 5K. So
you You're going to be great, Robin.
On Wednesday, hey, we're kicking off our week-long beauty bonanza with great products that just kind of pamper ourselves that won't break the bank, and they're all from small businesses. Good morning,
And I bet
Tori.
every single one of them would help you prepare and then recover from that 5K. Woo. So we're starting with a great neck and back massager. You see that? That would go right around your neck. You could then use it on your lower back as well. 8 deep kneading massage nodes that are in there. And so it's a phenomenal way, no matter where you are, because it's portable. So you get that incredible comfort everywhere. 3 speeds, optional heat. It's got a 20-minute automatic timer, and
I love this.
You get an hour of massage on a full charge, but really just 10 or 15 minutes kind of can do the trick for you. And it's 50% off plus free shipping.
We love that.
We love that. Okay.
Oh, you turned it off. Good.
There you go.
Okay.
Then for your feet, Clogs Footwear. They like to say that these are the shoes that will have comfort that outlasts the day. So typically, you got to get your feet off, your shoes off, because your feet can't stand the shoes. These are ones that are trusted by nurses, hospitality workers, teachers, people who are on their feet all day long, 25 years. We've got options for both men and women, and they really have thought of every single detail. So from the bottom, the slip-resistant tread, the cushioning in here that's been proven to last more than 1,000 miles, really great arch support, that kind of the arch and heel support that just cradles your foot. Also, one of our viewer requests is always to have both regular and wide. We've got both. Everything slashed in half today, starting at $50.
That's some nice styles.
Yep,
really nice
big
styles.
assortment.
I have this.
You do? Okay,
Yes.
so this is Bed of Nails. It takes kind of relaxation to a whole new level with acupressure. So the whole Bed of Nails technology is, an ancient method of relaxation meditation. This is the modern version of that. And so you immediately think, uh-oh, these prickly things. They do not penetrate the skin. They can appear to be uncomfortable for the first 30 seconds to a minute, and then suddenly like those endorphins kick in, and that's when that relaxation begins to occur. So that you can get that relief for chronic neck and back pain. You could use the bolster. We have a full mat for a back, headache, stress, just general relaxation. All 50% off.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared, exactly. It's blissful in about a minute. Magnum Solace, this is a really great one. This is all about magnesium. So muscle relaxation with formulas that have magnesium as the kind of the root of them. So we've got everything from the nighttime creams. We've got the really great foot spray. This is one that for just spraying at the bottom of the feet for about 2 weeks in a row, and then you could start to feel those benefits. We also have this one. This is one of their newest products, this Beef Tallow Balm. It's unbelievably hydrating. So it's a little bit used because you see that everyone's been around the studio grabbing some of this. It's unscented and it feels incredible on the driest skin. You don't need very much.
Oh, not at all.
On your skin, it's phenomenal. All of these products with magnesium, up to 61% savings, starting at $9.
I'm glad you're pampering Gary.
I know. It's very hard getting him to sit down. I know. He's like, can you do the shoulder massage at the same time? It's very difficult getting him to sit down.
He works so hard.
He does work so hard. Exactly. Michael is not crying for him. So we've given Gary here a foot massager. It's the same shiatsu technology that's going to target all of those pressure points. It is great for improved circulation, pain relief.
Amazing, amazing.
Or just relaxation. Yeah, don't get he's looking for that spray back there. He's looking for that spray.
Get a full, take your foot out of there.
Feels like there's 100 Michael Strahans in there, just little tiny ones, massaging my toes.
Who gave this man a mic?
This one's 50% off. Gary nodding. Cover compression, really great way to use compression to help relieve pain. We've got everything from the sleeves to lots of options with vibration. And so you get the compression and the vibration for back, knee, hands. We've got it all 50% off today. There you go. Put Michael to work.
I love how you were able to keep your focus, Tori. Thank you. We partner with these companies on these deals to get them on our website, goodmorningamerica.com. And Tori's going to be back tomorrow. I'm not sure if Gary's going to be back tomorrow, but Tori will with some more beauty bonanza deals for less. Oliver Stark when we come back.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
We are already having a nice chat with Oliver Stark. He plays firefighter Buck on 911. Season finale coming up Thursday. He's here to tell us all about it. Welcome to New York.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So you guys really threw the fans for a loop a couple of weeks ago. Peter Krause's character, Captain Bobby almost died. How'd that go down?
In a very sad way. The rest of the cast, we received the call about 2 weeks before actually shooting it, so there wasn't too much say goodbye time. I received the call, and honestly, I went silent when I got it. And Tim Minear, who was our showrunner, he said, "You still there?" And I said, "Yeah." I don't know what to say. It was shocking and stunning, and it's sad. We've had 8 years of building a really close-knit family, and we've lost our kind of patriarchal figure.
Wow. And speaking of close-knit family, Jennifer Love Hewitt plays your sister.
Yeah.
Was like instant connection when you first met?
100%. We actually met here in New York some 6-7 years ago now, and pretty much immediately she was making fun of me, like my sister would. So the kind of family bond was inbuilt, and she's so great. Like, she's so goofy, she doesn't take herself at all seriously, and so it's really easy to have that kind of sibling dynamic together.
Yeah. She really is something special.
Yeah, right?
As are you. So I understand that you actually considered in real life being a firefighter?
Yeah, so before the show came to me, I was living in LA and I was not working and needing to work. And I lived opposite a fire station in Hollywood. And so it wasn't something that I had grown up thinking about doing, but it was just in my universe because I'd hear the sirens all the time. I would walk out the front door and there it was, and I thought, hey, maybe I could do that. This is better. I like this more. This is like a nice blend of the two. But this came at the right time. No, I didn't. It was in the world, and it had the time come when it was like, right, I really need to find a new career. That probably would have been the next step, but this came instead.
It's so interesting that you ended up playing. It's funny
manifested
how,
it,
funny
brought
how
it to
it
you.
works
Absolutely.
that way. Maybe you could have become a photographer, because it sounds like you are pretty good with one of those old film cameras, and you've gotten really into creating art when you're not acting.
Yeah, so we've been doing the show a long time, 8 years now, so I was looking for ways to feel creative again. I love taking photographs, and we do such specific things on this show that it
Your
felt
photos,
nice
we're looking at them now, they're beautiful.
Memorialize them. Thank you. So yes, I've been creating this coffee table book that I'll give to the cast and crew at the end of the season. It's just a nice way to look back and go, hey, look, we had some really great times
What's
together.
your camera of choice?
So I've been shooting on a Pentax 6.7, which is an old medium format camera. As you see, I shoot in black and white film. And, I send them off actually here to a lab in Brooklyn to get it developed, and they come back to me, and I've been putting together this book.
That's going to be a really nice gift. Very thoughtful.
That's pretty great.
All right, so I have one other question, and that is that you tell us about this long-standing joke that you have with the props department. It has something to do with your uniform.
Yeah, so we come out of these emergencies, and we have fire techs on the show. Everything is.
They want it to be close to real life, right?
Close being the operative word. Not it's still entertainment. And so my thing coming out is that I never want to wear my helmet. You would definitely still have your helmet on. Yeah, but what if instead I had like helmet hair and I look cool and like I've been doing stuff? Like, well, where's your helmet though? And I lost it in the fire. And we like to joke that the entire LAFD budget is just spent replacing my helmet. So they gifted me a helmet. So I have one at home. Not on the show, but I have one at my house to wear just in case catastrophe strikes.
There you go. Firefighting, but it doesn't look like that's going to be necessary.
There you go. Yeah, if the time does come, I'll go to an LAFD place and say, I've already got the helmet. Sign me up.
Let me in.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Season finale 911 airs Thursday at 8 Eastern on ABC. Streams the next day on Hulu.
We are prepping for our GMA 5K, and Chef Dan Churchill is here, also a personal trainer with a degree in exercise science, author of the cookbook Eat Like a Legend. And he's got a food plan to get you ready to run. fun. We are so happy to see you.
Thanks, Ginger.
A lot of people have questions about this now. You're coming back in our third hour to give us like recipes and how we can prep for those meals. But let's talk about getting carbs in the night before, because that is important.
Yes,
Don't
it
be
is.
afraid of them.
Don't be afraid of them. It's a good time to actually take advantage of them. You know, with a 5K, you're not looking to do too much of like an actual top load, but you want to keep it simple. Keep to 40 to 45% of your total intake, so just in less than half a plate, to focus on simple carbohydrates.
Okay, so run us down the line.
Yeah, so we got like fish tacos with a white tortilla, not like corn, because white flour's got much more simple carbs in it.
Okay.
We got a nice little Mexican bowl here again with a base of rice and some little
Brown
things on the
rice,
side.
white rice, doesn't matter.
You know, it does matter depending on if you want it more readily available. The night before you can do brown. If you're going to have something beforehand and you want to do rice, you could do white because it's much more quickly absorbed. And then you've got some ramen here as well, so more of the plant-based option here with a nice bit of carbohydrates from the noodles themselves. Do you have a preference right now? Would you have
Right now, I would dive right into that first.
Yeah, nice.
But I like them all. These are all my jams.
Yeah,
so
nice. Pretty good sorted. But yeah, essentially it's like the idea is keep it simple. Don't worry about having too much, you know, carbohydrates in general, but just aim for 40 to 45% of your plate to really contain that carbohydrate source.
Everybody loves a good carb night.
Yeah,
Thank you so
exactly.
much.
Of
All right,
course.
so Dan's going to be back in our third hour with recipes to get you ready to run our GMA 5K, and you can get all of them on goodmorningamerica.com. Thank you again.
All right, right now, a sneak peek at the new season of the hit reality series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which promises even more mom talk drama. Take a look.
I think she burnt her bridges and now she sees how well Mom Talk is doing, and now she's just coming on back in at a convenient time, isn't she? But we can't let people in who just want clout.
Anyone that comes in at this point is clout chasing. That just is what it is. Are you guys gonna go?
I don't really want to. Michaela's like, am I forced to go?
So right now, two of the stars, Jessie Nautikara and Layla Taylor, are joining us. Welcome, girls.
Hi. Thank you for having
Thank you for
us.
being here. So you guys, the show stemmed from the viral hashtag Mom Talk, and this was all about just sort of sharing your everyday lives as Mormon wives. Why do you think it has just taken off and become so influential even?
Well, I think the buzzword Mormon really gets attention for sure. People are interested in the Mormon culture, the Utah culture, and also it's like a bunch of moms who are just getting together, and I think everyone can relate to having like a fun friendship group that goes through ups and downs.
Yeah.
Which we do.
Yeah, you're definitely, you're very open.
Yeah.
You show what's really going on,
Yes.
which I feel like authenticity always wins.
Yes.
So without giving too much away, what's the main drama that we can expect going on this season?
Honestly, there's so much. I wish I could like put it into like one word, but lots of friendship
give us some
trials for
nuggets,
sure.
yeah. Friendship trials.
There's some allegations that go around end of season.
Allegations
lies.
of.
Oh, you'll have to
You're
wait.
gonna have to watch.
Allegations, lies, tears, emotions, there's so much.
Yeah.
But I would say relationship dynamics is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was quite a tease.
Yes.
So there was a crossover episode with Vanderpump Villa.
Yes.
And Lisa Vanderpump, one of our friends, said that you guys were the wildest of
gosh.
all the guests that they had.
I'm embarrassed.
Of course. Didn't see that coming. And
Mormons know how to have fun.
Yeah,
We
of
don't
course,
party.
of course, I know that you do. The wildest of all of her guests.
Yeah,
the
and we
Villa?
were all pretty. I mean, me and Jess had maybe a drink, but the majority of the girls were sober.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were the craziest is
shocking.
But
we were so
why do you
excited.
think she said that?
I think we definitely like mingled with the staff and got to know them really well, and we were just there for a good time. So I think that I don't know, they were drawn to us. What can you say?
Yeah.
What can you say?
Well, it was good TV. She was raving.
Thanks. Oh gosh.
You guys drink a lot of the dirty sodas.
Yes.
So we want you to give us a little education. They're very popular, I know, with you guys. They're catching on in other parts of the country. Can you describe for our viewers what a dirty soda is?
So dirty means that you're adding like coconut cream or vanilla cream and syrups, and it's making it kind of like a dressed up soda. And it's so funny because it's normal to us.
Yes.
And when it started catching on and people thought it was so crazy, we were like,
I think the name is very catchy.
Yeah,
Yes.
You
for
know,
sure.
it sounds naughty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we come on over.
Okay, let's
we
make
decided
some.
to do a little dirty soda demo. If you guys,
We felt right at home.
I know. Well, you guys told us what you wanted.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about your dirty soda of choice. choice.
Okay, so mine is Dr. Pepper. That's the base that I prefer. And then I like to add vanilla syrup and then coconut creamer.
Dr. Pepper is already kind of vanilla, so this is just, you're taking it.
Yes. Yeah, making it even better.
And then creamer.
Yes. So do you want me to make it? Like show you? Okay. So it's all about having the right proportions. So usually a squirt or two of that.
Okay.
And then you really want it to look like an iced coffee, to be honest. So we're gonna add a little bit of cream.
Oh my gosh.
Mix
Are
it
you
up.
just flying after one of these?
Oh my gosh.
The sugar
yes.
content?
And this is us at 8:30 a.m. every morning.
Normally like 2 a day too.
How'd you? Now you.
Oh, that's good.
Is it good? You nailed it?
I nailed it.
You go with the
mine's Mountain Dew.
Wow.
And then I add strawberry puree.
Oh my goodness.
Which is so yummy. And then mango puree. Just even more sugar.
It does actually sound
it's delicious.
Appealing in
Sugar's
a very
our blood
sugary
type.
way.
And then I copy just too, and I do coconut cream as well.
Yep. So coconut creamer, like the for
Like
our
coffee
like
creamer.
you add into coffee.
Yeah.
All right.
And then it's just a good
cheers.
Yeah,
I'll grab
cheers.
this
You gotta
one.
get yours.
Cheers,
Cheers.
girls.
You're
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mom Talk, baby.
Mom Talk official.
Hey, all 10 episodes of season 2 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives are available to stream this Thursday on Hulu. Check it out. You heard it here first. I mean, what did you say? There are secrets. There are trials. There is her tears.
Yes.
Everything.
Tears.
Oh my.
laughs,
It's chaotic.
everything.
All right, let's go.
It's gonna be good.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Coming up, New York Times best-selling author Tia Williams is with us with her daughter Carolina to talk about our GMA Book Club Young Adult Pick for May.
It's good.
We're back now with New York Times best-selling author Tia Williams. Her new book, Audrey and Bass Are Just Friends, is our GMA Book Club Young Adult Pick for May. She joins us now with her daughter, Carolina Cabezas. Welcome to you both.
Hi.
Happy to have. I love this mother-daughter combo that we have here. And you know, Tia, this book is a spin-off of your fan-favorite character from the best-selling novel, 7 Days in June.
Yes.
Did you ever realize that this character would be so popular?
No, it's like, you know, you write these books, you write these characters, and then you give them over to the public, and you just never really know how they're going to be received. But people loved Audrey. Yeah.
And Carolina, I want to ask you, how much help did you give your mom on this book? Take all the credit you want. You go ahead.
I think I gave a lot of help. I was basically the muse for Audrey.
She was.
And I gave her advice about what teenagers say now and how teenagers my age act nowadays.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So a lot of the character was inspired by Carolina.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to make sure I sounded authentic, you
Mhm.
know, because I'm a Gen X person writing about a 16-year-old. So I would run, you know, plot lines by her, slang, you know. I would get the tea from her and her girlfriends about what was happening in high school. Yeah.
And did you enjoy that conversation with your mom? And I mean,
Yeah.
probably brought you a little closer, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely did.
Is there some things you didn't share?
I think I shared all of it because I don't do anything like bad, so there's nothing bad to say about it.
And now it's being made into a series. Your 7 Days in June being made into a series. Who would be your dream cast to play Eva and Audrey?
Well, for Eva, I love Tiana Parrish.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
so good.
Uh-huh.
And who do you think for Audrey?
For Audrey, I think Marcy Martin. I think she'd be a really good Audrey.
Good friend of the show, Marcia. She would be great. And Carolina, do you have rules for your mom? Like, you can't say this, you can't do that? Or do you have any rules for you to collaborate with her?
Not really. She kind of just like, I let her use a lot
She
of.
let me.
I let her use a lot of my slang and like things I do. Like some things I do are things that Audrey and Bash do in the book, and like we're very similar in character.
But she was very particular about not
Mhm.
using out of date slang.
It's got to be up to date. See, I wouldn't be able to. I'm out of date, personally. Is this the first book that Carolina's able to read that you've written?
Oh, absolutely. The rest of my books she cannot read till she's 35.
35?
Yeah. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah,
They're
you
too
say you don't
steamy.
do anything bad. Have you tried to sneak a peek at some of your mom's
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
I've looked at them many times.
No. I'm sweating.
Don't sweat. You should be happy because we're happy that you both are here, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And I love this collaboration. Should do it more often.
Yeah.
Make sure your mom gives you all the credit, writing about your life and all that. Audrey and Bass are just friends. It is available everywhere right now. Make sure you check it out.
Before we go, a big congratulations to our lighting director, Josh Windhausen, his wife, Jill, the new addition to the family, Benjamin Peter Windhausen, was born just in time for Mother's Day.
Oh, what a great picture that is. Congratulations to them. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.
Bye.